All right, thank y'all for tuning in. We're gonna get to your blood raw. This is my life story. This is how I came up in Liberty City. One of the dangerous cities you'll ever know. This is the Pork and Bean Projects, you know.
Before we get into this video, we're gonna have to take it back to some history in this back page. Let's get it.
Gunfire erupting in the night.
All the units, move everybody to the west side of 12th Avenue.
In the end, 9 people hit by the flurry of bullets on a Miami street.
And I just seen gunfire.
2 are confirmed deceased.
Family members overcome.
Make sure there's no one else shot.
Flashing lights, bullet holes, and teddy bear memorials have become so common here in the Liberty Square housing project. Ask any neighbor and they'll point out multiple spots around their homes where people were murdered.
662th Street.
Kissel, 58662nd Street. Kissel, okay, anyone can advise how many people we have at large? At least we'll know. Advise.
Side, it's just too crazy out there.
I think the greatest impact that we're having in Liberty City is that no one feels safe. As children, if they're feeling safe or what they would change about their community, they all say the same thing.
That the homicide detectives here say they are dealing with so much violence and so many cases that the whiteboard that they use to keep track of all of them is filling up.
A string of shootings leaving 14 people shot.
I'm upset because every time I turn around it's shooting and killing. Shooting and killing, I got to get on the floor.
The pockmarked walls of this section of Liberty City's complex, known as the Pork and Beans Project, show that whoever opened fire here meant business.
Today's assignment took a special task force into a dangerous part of the city in Miami, Liberty City.
Helicopters hovered over the scene in a notoriously violent section of Miami where 2 Miami-Dade police officers were shot and killed.
Police say a group of young people were standing outside when someone took aim and began spraying bullets from an AK-47.
The amount of AK-47s.
The gang-ridden area.
The end result of that, their operation was that they were apparently shot in an ambush.
I could have sworn I only seen those in movies.
Like the whole first week, I think it was sleepless night because of like violence, right? Shooting. We was like terrified to the point where when it happened, we were ducking down low.
That's for the male shot, and then he landed flat in his stomach, and then we have another one.
Get with the process.
When they're living in a war, they can't run from it because it's there. This is where we are, in a war. We can't run from it because the next house we go to, it's over there too. You understand? So that's what we need to clean up, the violence.
Miami-Dade County Mayor Carlos Jimenez announced his plans to transform Liberty Square, instilling hope and even bringing tears to some eyes that have seen tragedy after tragedy.
This is the Pork and Bean Projects. You know, when I was a young guy coming up, this is where I started, in the alley.
Yeah.
We used to come through the alley, me and my homeboy Peanut. You know, my dog in prison right now, got a life sentence.
Oh, you got a life sentence?
Okay. Yeah, you know, Lil Nut introduced me to this alley right here. We used to come and hustle. You know, we had all the boys that was really getting money. If it wasn't for the alley, it was on the wall, you know.
Okay.
Had my homeboy Dre, you know, had Larry Green, you know, all the few players that was out of the Pork and Beans.
Okay.
Back then, everybody had a set.
Okay.
You couldn't come in the Pork and Beans if you was from Scott Projects. You couldn't come in the Pork and Beans if you was from Largemont. You had to be from the Pork and Beans in order to come in the Pork and Beans. Everybody had their own set. So I was a legit, you know, I was coming up in the ranks of how to be a little young thug, because that's how I was living. You know, when you ain't got a father at the house, you come up into a situation like this. You're trying to find that love, you know what I mean? So today, I really can relate to the kids because when it comes to trying to find your place in the world and dealing with finding love in the streets, you know, you come into a situation where you may join a gang. And joining the gang is not the way we was doing it. We was joining the clique, but we was also hustling. We was about our money. You know what I mean? We found ways of getting money. We wasn't robbing and killing the ones that we lived in this projects with. We was always stuck together. The Pork and Beans stuck with the Pork and Beans. You know what I mean? We didn't clip each other. We didn't we didn't shoot each other and kill each other. We always went outside the skirts and did our dirt.
Right.
So basically, just want to just open up and just let y'all know this where it started from, out of the hood, you know. And we gonna do 3 parts. 3 parts is where I started at in the Poking Beans. I started on 15th Ave, and then I'm gonna show you how, as my time went and I started getting older, that you had to have a pass to go cross 62nd Martin Luther King light, because everybody wasn't able to go cross the light.
Right.
You know, back then you had a game that was called the lynch mob. You wasn't able to go cross that light. You know what I mean? So it was ruthless on that other side. So in order for you to be able to go over there, you had to have a pass. Somebody had to bring you over. So the next clipping gonna be definitely on another set, which was $1 million hole. It was $1 million street. Everybody that know about Miami know about 15th Avenue. Everybody know about the players and the hustlers and all of, you know, the females used to get dressed in their nice clothes and walk the block. It was all about the drug dealers back then, you know? It was all about getting some money, you know? So I was one of those little jits that was always about my money, you know what I mean? I had a dunk, I had a Chevy, so that's how I was able to get my name up in the ranks in the streets, you know what I mean? But other than that, you know, this is like really for something that I want to just talk about with these young cats, the way they going about with all this killing each other, robbing and stealing and not even having the respect for the elders or respect for themselves, you know? And then not only now, you clipping your own homeboy, you telling on your own homeboy. We didn't have that, you know what I mean? So I feel like this is something that y'all can listen to. And you know, you probably can relate if you got a child in your household and he don't want to be disciplined and he don't want to listen, and you see that he's smelling himself, then you know you can be able to just probably like, you know, let him watch this. Let him get an understanding that he ain't gonna earn nothing by being in the streets. You'll earn more by being something in life. You know what I mean? I came up in the streets, so I got books and I got knowledge when it comes to the books and the streets. You gotta have both. In order to live out here in this world, you gotta have street knowledge and you gotta have book knowledge. You gotta know the ins and the outs. It's best to be to yourself where you ain't got to tell on nobody. You know what I mean? Because right now in these games, man, everybody telling on everybody. It's like that's the name of the game. Who can tell on whoever first? You ain't gonna be able to tell on me because I never was with a gang. I was never with nobody. I might be hanging out with you, but I'm not gonna participate in, you know what I mean? Okay. So that's what it is, you know what I mean? So if you got any questions that you wanna know about me and my lifestyle, you know, open up and let me know what it is, and I'm gonna try to answer them to the best of my ability, you know?
And then remind you, tell them your name. OG.
Oh yeah, better known as Kojak, AKA City Boy, you know, definitely born and raised in Gainesville. I came to Miami when I was 6 years old. You know what I mean? I did the circle. I did Archer Villa. I did Charles Drew. I did Jam Man, for all y'all don't know about Jam Man. And I went to the West. And then I went to jail. When I got out of jail, I went to the Mac. A lot of y'all don't know about the Mac, you know? So this is things that, you know, I'm just trying to put y'all up on. If you is from Miami, and you will see this, you'll know exactly where I'm coming from. So I'm gonna show you the scenes that we're gonna do, and this is my life story. This is my testimony. This is how I came up into the streets. Okay, this is the second part of street knowledge. I'm gonna bring it back to you, the real, and that's what it is. This is 15th Avenue, 63rd, PE. This is where I started at when it comes to me really getting my name in the streets. That's Kojak, right here. Lemon Lime, I know a lot of y'all know Lemon Lime. Rest in peace to my dog, Lemon Lime. My dog, Chop, you know what I mean? He's still here with me. We had Baylaw, his brother. We had we had a few dudes, man. We had old A, you know, we had Speedy. We had a few dudes that was saying that was really getting money, you know what I mean? And this was the spot. This was the spot that everybody come and hang out, you know what I mean? Chop it up. And this is where it all started from. Public Enemy #1, PE. Okay. My back door was right there. That was the Poking Beans right there.
So they knocked it down.
You know what I mean? Yeah, they knocked it down. You know, they finna rebuild on it.
Yeah.
This is where it all started, back in the early 90s, you know? This street down here is we call 15th Avenue.
Okay.
As we take a walk down this way, you know, 15th Avenue was $1 million spot. This
Yeah.
where the money was. This where all the dope boys was hanging out at. You know what I mean? All the girls come walk down the aisle trying to catch a dope boy. You know, late night, come through, everybody posted up with the bronze. This was the spot right here. Where I came up at, really making a name for myself.
Right.
So as you know, this is the $2 house. This is the famous $2 house right here. Everybody know about the $2 house, man. If you ain't eat no oxtails out of the $2 house, you ain't eat from Mr. Eric, God bless you. You know what I mean? So as we walk farther down to the next corner, all this was the spot right here. This was the place where you wanted to go hang out at. This was one stop right
So
here.
they shut this store down?
Yeah, you know, Mr. Eric passed away, so
it's
little Duke Daddy's store, you know what I mean? And this was one stop. This where they was selling the one stop weed at, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Right here. So you had one stop right here, and you had Public Enemy right there. So you had two traps in one spot.
Yeah.
And everybody was getting money. That gonna show you how we was living out here.
It was unity.
It was all about unity. It was enough money out here for everybody.
Okay.
It wasn't no beefing. It wasn't no shoot each other up, robbing each other. Everybody was getting money out here. It was a totally different game in the dope game. You know what I mean?
Right.
From the day dope game to back then dope game, totally changed. You know what I mean?
Okay.
There was a lot of loyalty, man. When I say a lot of loyalty, you couldn't tell on nobody.
Yeah.
If not, your mama house gonna get flipped or you gonna get flipped. It wasn't about telling. People wasn't on that, oh, I'm gonna tell on you and I'm gonna rat on you and none of that. It wasn't that type of story out here back then. You know what I mean? You had some real cold killers out here. You had some robbers. You had some dudes that snatched pocketbooks. You know what I mean? They used to come hang out right here. This way it was. Everybody come and just hit the block. Oh, we gonna go hang out on 15th Ave. So come on, let's go to the next corner.
I'm standing with one of the original members and original. He come from here, man.
15th Ave, man.
He come
OG,
from here. Go
man.
say it. Go ahead.
My name explains itself, Kojak, man. If you know about 15th Ave, you know about Liberty City, you done heard about me. I done been out here. I done been throwing dust and I done been kicking up dust. And you know, it is what it is. You know, I'm a ladies' man as well. You know, so at the end of the day, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to give you my life story, my testimonies of how I was able to live past 25, because these jitterbugs not living past 25 right now, you know?
So I'm here with Unc, man. He finna give his story, man. He original, you know, resident from this area. He indigenous people. You know how they say indigenous people here? Y'all one of the indigenous people. Y'all grew up here. Y'all did work here, and y'all got history here. So I appreciate you coming through.
Yeah, most definitely. I got a lot of history right here, man. It's
tell
my
your
hood.
story and
It's my hood.
let's start right here. What is was right
like
here?
Like I said, this was one stop, man. This was the weed spot. You know, we had two weed holes. Like I said, you had Public Enemy and you had one stop.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You had the $2 house. Right here, you had Bowleg doing the shoes. You had, this was a barber shop. You know what I mean? And we used to shoot dice right here. This was one of the dice shots.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when you get probably now, let me show you how 15th Ave really was, and it was so much unity and money, because remember I told you had the two weed spots, and then you had Sweet and Sunny. You had Sweet and Sunny with my dog Cool Mill. You know what I mean? One time for Cool Mill here, OG2. Cool Mill used to be right here, you know what I mean? You had three spots in one little corner that we was getting money, you know what I mean? It wasn't nobody about beefing, everybody was getting money. So as we walked down, this was really the spot that we used to always shoot dice at, you know what I mean? Everybody come from different areas, Opalaka, Overtown, and used to come on the Ave and shoot dice and, you know, enjoy themselves. That's really what it was. Yeah, so this was Sweet and Sunny. This was Rolling with Rush. You know what I mean? This is what this was right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I say, Cool Mill had this little spot right here on Point.
Is this abandoned now, or
yeah, this all this abandoned now. You know what I mean?
Nobody bought it up?
15th Ave is more like now it's real, like everything is getting towed down and they refixing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pushing all the blacks up out of here. As you can see, It's a lot of, it's a lot of
It's
Spanish.
gentrification. That's
Yeah,
why
you
I'm
know,
speaking
it's
about.
a lot
If
of
we're not
Spanish.
buying our blocks, if we're not buying grandma house, it's not. If we're not buying the houses that we grew up in, they're gonna come back and get it.
Yeah, see, the thing about us with blacks, man, we selling our land, man.
That's
we
the
gotta
thing.
stop selling everything, man.
Okay.
We chasing money, but we're not supposed to be chasing the money.
You're
You
supposed
got
to be
the money.
investing.
You're supposed to invest in the money.
Yeah.
You keep your land, and that's what's gonna produce your money. So,
Yeah.
but what we doing is everything that your grandma done left you, your mama done left, and they selling everything. So that's why the Spanish coming and buying up everything, the Jews buying up everything, and that's what they doing. Now, right here, what you got is Mr. Wonderful. This Mr. Wonderful store right here, man. This is where all the big timers used to come and gamble. It used to be a gambling spot in the back of this store.
Wow.
Millions of dollars done been won and lost in this store right here.
Damn.
You'd think it's a corner store, but this was $1 million spot.
They turned it into Trina.
It's right, because that's her daddy. You know, her daddy passed away, you know what I mean? So, you know, that's really what it was, man. This was $1 million spot.
Yeah.
Again, 15th Ave. This was a dope hole. This was my dog Murph. You know what I mean? Murph's still out here with us today, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And that's what's really going on. It was all about selling drugs back then. Everybody wanted a dope boy.
Yeah.
Now, it's all about the robbing and killing with these jitterbugs, but that ain't the way we was living. We was living the real way. Getting money, get you some money, get you some women's, and just having fun, enjoying life, you know what I mean? Get you a car, get you some clothes, and that's what type of life we were living. We was living like that, you know what I mean?
So let me ask you this. So since, you know, in the 80s and 90s, they were polluting y'all with the drug epidemic came now. Now they polluting these kids with the music and the kill, shoot 'em up, bang, bang right now. So you think it's the same tactic, but different mechanism now?
I feel like it ain't no leadership. You know what I mean? The rap game done totally changed. You know, when we were listening to Tupac, Scarface, 8-Ball and MJG. You know, we were listening to people that really had a movement. You know what I mean? It was all about a movement. We had Luke Skywalker down here and representing the South. You know what I mean? With the booty shaking with the women's. You know, that's how that got on the map. But other than that, you know, we had a movement with the rap. The rap was always a message. It was really a freedom of speech. That's really what it was all about, a freedom of speech.
Poetry,
Now, you got these rappers living a lifestyle that they really not living. They telling you about what type of drugs they using, what type of drinks they using, but all that affecting you. It's killing you. You know what I mean?
It's not killing the consumer, It's not
the
producer that even getting it.
You know what I mean?
Future say he don't even do Molly and Percocet, but it's the consumer that's what they sell.
That's really what I feel like. It ain't no leadership no more when it comes to nothing. Real rap, it ain't no leadership when it's coming to still want to sell drugs. The dope game is gone. It ain't no more dope game.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You got to really like, now you got to get a job. You got to go to church. You know what I mean? You got to be able to be a family man. It don't matter how old you is. You just got to be able to want to do right. They say if you know better, you'll do better.
Amen.
And that's really what it is. You got these kids out here now that really not focusing on trying to do right. They more focusing on carrying a pistol and killing one another, but they don't know the white man getting you 100 years. And then when you get in the courtroom, you ready to tell on your peers.
He throwing
you
that
see what I'm
elbow.
saying? So that's what I don't understand about the game. How you trying to live with something and then you really not ready to live that life? Because when you get that elbow, you ready to tell on God. You ready to tell on your mama. You seen a situation where going on in Jacksonville with it. The daddy done told on the son. You know what I mean? So we gotta look at that as an example, as in leave the streets alone, go get you a job, take care of your woman, y'all build something together and get closer to God, man. It's all about going to church, man. I'm telling you, this is my testimony. I'm 50 years old. I don't even look 50. I don't feel 50. But at the end of the day, I live these life. I live these streets. I'm out here to tell you, this is not where you want to be at. The time too long and too hard right now. When we was going to jail, we could go to jail for 6 months and get out on a pistol charge. Now you might get you 3 to 5 years for a pistol charge. You know what I mean? A dope case, you might go and do a 364 for a dope case. Now they gonna give you 10, 15 years for a dope case. So it ain't worth it. It ain't worth to throw your life away about something that ain't gonna even help you.
It's only hurting you. It's giving you a
ain't
high
helping.
for
Can't
right
take
now.
care of your family with it. So when the police grab you, you can't even go get you no lawyer. You know what I mean? So It's just best to just right now, like I say, get closer to God, man. Find your job and just do something constructive. You know what I mean? I mentor kids. I counsel kids.
Okay.
I try to stray kids right. If I don't do nothing but save 2-3 souls, I'm happy. You know what I mean? I like to get to the kids and show them that it's a better way. Give them that hope. Let them know that, hey, man, it's always a better opportunity. Go to school, you know what I mean? Learn,
get you a trade,
get your trade or whatever it may be. So now, what we finna do now is go where I told y'all you couldn't go across that light if you didn't have a pass. This is how 15th Ave was.
So you had to be verified to get back
So you had to be verified to go cross that light to 61st Street.
Yeah.
This is where it all was when it came to the LM. You know what I mean? This was way before the John Doe came apart.
Okay.
It was always lynch mob, the LM. So in order to get across that light, you had to know somebody to go across that light. You just wasn't gonna just go across that light.
Okay, bet.
That's just how trenches it was back then. Now, what I was saying was, once you get light, this is 60-second and 1-5.
Okay.
You couldn't come across this light if you didn't have a pass. You had to have a pass. You had to have a G pass.
This is MLK 62, right?
This is 62nd and 15th Avenue.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what this is. This 62.
Okay.
15th Ave.
So what was the difference between this side and the other side?
This side was was about money. This was the $1 million spots where everybody come walk, all the women walk at night and try to catch them a drug dealer. You know, this is where all the dope boys was at to come hang out and sell their drugs and the cars, the nice cars and everything.
Yeah.
Across this light was strictly murders capital.
Okay.
You either gonna get murdered or you gonna get robbed.
Yeah, that's the Brotherhoods right there, right?
This was the tough side.
Okay, that's the first 48
the light.
Okay.
That's right. You going across the lights where the tough side was. You had to have a pass to go across this light.
Okay.
You know what I mean? No, anybody was gonna come across this light right here.
Okay.
Now you had the women's dormitory started from right here all the way down to 13th. It's 61st and 15th Ave, going all the way down to 61st and 13th Ave.
Right.
All this was women dormitory right here.
Okay.
All this was the women dormitory. You had all women dormitory right here. See, they don't remodel all this now. These townhouses now, but back then, you know, this was. This 61st and 14th, 13th. You know, this is where it get hood at. This is where it get gangsta. You had to have a pistol. When you come on this street, you had to have a pistol.
Yeah.
You had to have a gun. All right. Now, this is the last part of my testimony. This right here is 61st and 14th Ave. Used to be the Arab store. The Arab store, like it was back then, we used to sell drugs out that store.
Okay.
We used to own the Arab stores.
Yeah.
We had a car wash right here.
Yeah.
When I say we, that mean the lynch mob. That's where it all started from.
Yeah.
When I came across that light, I was affiliated with the lynch mob.
Yeah.
So, we had the car wash right here, E-Double. My dog E-Double and his brother, God bless the dead, Flume. They had the car wash right here.
Okay.
We had the store, Los, Markioso, God bless the dead, Judal. God bless the dead, Tim.
Okay.
Man, it was a lot of us, man. This was the lynch mob, man. This was 61st Street, 15th Avenue. I was a young jitterbug, man. I started selling heroin as we walked right there on this corner. Charles Drew.
Okay.
I was a young dude selling heroin. I think I was like 12 years old, hustling, selling heroin. And back then, this used to be the spot.
Okay.
So like I said, you know, I was young. I was in Charles Drew Junior High School in the 8th grade, 7th grade. I was selling heroin on that part right there. They call it African Square Park. That's where all the
right
jams used to be.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We used to have jams every weekend on that park right
now
there.
Now it's a youth center, right?
That was a youth center, man.
Okay,
you know, African Square Park, that's where it was.
Okay.
This used to be an A-Rab store. You know what I mean? You could say this used to be lynch mob A-Rab store because you had 10, 15 niggas in there selling drugs, guns. So that was a store that they used to own.
Okay.
It was the A-Rab store, but they owned it. You know what I mean? They don't burnt it down. The A-Rabs had to rebuild it.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So it was rough on this end, man. That's why I say you couldn't come across that light unless you had a G-Pass.
Okay.
And when I say the women's dormitory, that was HUD. Women's dormitory was 3 stories high.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You had 4 stories.
Yeah.
These you had 4 on this side, you had 4 on this side, and you had 3 down there. This whole street was women's dormitories.
Yeah.
Apartments.
Yeah.
As you see, where we going now is a empty lot, but that's where the women's dormitory was at.
So it's empty,
you know what I mean?
land.
This was like New Jack City.
Okay.
15th Avenue, man. Had to come across 15th Avenue.
Yeah.
61st.
Yeah.
No anybody gonna walk down this street. This was a real tough street right here.
61st.
61st.
Okay.
This street right here was a lot of killing. A lot of police got shot.
This first 48.
My homeboy,
first 48 area.
CB.
Yeah, that's first.
You know, he went to prison doing 30 years for shooting at the police, you know, after they told on him. However that situation went, you know what I mean? My boy done came home now, you know, he doing good.
Okay.
And yeah, man, this was a real dangerous street, man. This street here was really like, wasn't no anybody able to come to this spot right here. This was 15th and 61st, 14th, 61st, 13th and 61st.
Okay.
Those 3 spots right there, 14th, 13th, 15th, all this was trenches. Ain't no anybody coming this way.
First 48 areas.
You know what I mean? Yeah, this was the lynch mob
I remember one of them first 48 victim kids, the mom lived on 6-1.
That's what it was, man.
So she was telling her story on how her son passed that. His name was Trail. The 2013 when the 13th and 12 was going back and forth.
Yeah, man.
So
that was over there on that side.
Yeah.
That was the poker beans on that side, you know. But like I said, back then, how it is now, none of that prepared to how we was living now.
Right.
You know what I mean? You had to either have your gun on you or you had to have a pass to come on this street.
It was wicked back then.
This street was really serious. It wasn't about, you know, like unity over here on this side of town. This was anything goes right here.
Wow.
You know what I mean? This was anything goes. Shootouts every night.
Okay.
Always shootouts.
Yeah.
This where all the gunfire you gonna hear every night.
Yeah, and it's
on
still
this side of
active
town.
out here. It's crazy.
You know what I mean?
Still get active
so
out here.
That's really what it is, man. 15th, 14th, and 13th.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I said, you know, I miss the dormitories because all this was full of women's. All the women's had apartments, so we used to go in the women's apartment and hang out. You know, everybody had apartment. Well, them boys was doing their thuggism. You know, we had women's where they keep them for the drugs in the houses. We got women's that we smashing. You know what I mean? It was just.
So let me ask you a question. With the John Doe and the Vonda, was this had something to do with it? Because I know you said John Doe was that.
See, LM was way before John Doe. A lot of people don't understand. It was never a John Doe until it was an LM.
Oh,
Lynch mob was always first.
Okay.
Before it became a John Doe.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what a lot of people get it misconstrued and telling the story like John Doe was Liberty City. No, Lynch mob was Liberty City when it comes to 61st Street.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay then. Can you show them where you got shot at?
You won't be able to see it, but that's one of them right there.
Okay.
I got shot in my arm right there.
Okay.
I got shot in this arm right here.
We're gonna get at the light though. You can still show
and
right,
I got shot between my legs right there.
Okay.
You know, shot 5 times. And I
was
just
it 9mm or 7.62?
9mm. You know what I mean? Cause, you know what I mean, I was up against 3 to 1. Okay. You know what I mean? So that's how they ambushed me. When they ambushed me, I was able to get out of it. God always had me escape route. That's why I feel like God had his hands on me.
Yeah.
So I have a testimony. You know, that was my testimony. That's the way I almost lost my life that night.
Yeah.
From Miami boys street violence, Kingpin drug dealing in the inner city getting shot over 8 times to finding God. Gunshots were his lullabies, robberies his report cards. Miami projects raised him hard. Prison walls couldn't hold his spirit though. Behind bars he found something stronger than the streets. Where concrete couldn't reach, from corner boy to cornerstone. This is how he went from a hood soldiers to a militant, minded, God-fearing warrior living by example for the next generation. This is Kevin Kojak's Sam redemption story.
Because he could have hit me in my head or he could have hit me in my chest. But that just go to show you how good God is and God protect you. You got to always stand on something. You got to always believe